cities belong to, although they display. You shouldn't expect it that all of those columns are today original standing. Today, the Laodicea or Ephesus is like an opening museum. And some of the temples, some of the houses, they find out, but they couldn't understand yet to whom it was dedicated to. That's why they have a name called like Temple A or the Crystal Houses A, which is quite especially unidentified. But during the very early archaeological excavation in the city of Laodicea, they were not expecting a city which is going to be very big. They knew that they were rich, but this richness was so much exaggerated with the multiple constructions in those days. To come across, especially the two theaters for the big city is a normal, but not three. To come across to two agoras, it's a normal, but not like here, almost five. Two churches, but five. 5 baths, so 10 monumental fountains. So the city was such a city in those days, even the people who were living nearby, forget about the people of Athens and Rome, they identified. It was such a really spoiled by the constructions, which was not really needed. It is only the built to emphasize to the visitors or the people they were making trade how much they are rich and strong. They were rich, but they lost the faith. That's why the Jesus was telling on the letter, you think that you are rich. But they were really financially rich. For instance, one thing that I want to tell you, in this area that I had mentioned yesterday, if you do remember the terrible earthquakes in the 17th, like early first century and second half of the first century, very badly knocked down. And many of those people living in Thyatira, also Sardis and Philadelphia, couldn't reconstruct those major buildings years and years. But here in the city of Laodicea, right after these two big disasters, especially the second one was almost like 35, 40 years after the first one, they did not ask and get any help from anyone else, including Rome. So they all did reconstructed their buildings, which was knocked down by these two big earthquakes in the first century. Then Rome understood that they were very powerful as well. So that's why that as a great trading center where we are having a unique productions and so many things were taken from the east to west, this was a great address of the Jews. Pretty much of the Jews in this area started to be formed right after the Alexander the Great from Macedonia and Philippi. And then also the Church of Laodicea, which is the last letter in also the Revelation that we know, which was very lucky, very unlucky, in my opinion, due to location and the fate of them. And one of the really great the graffiti which is discovered by the archaeologists that were the Jewish origin Christians, pretty much, especially living in the city where we are, as you see the cross, the menorah. Do you see anything else?
Yep. Yep. So what you see, what's the traditional greeting in the Christian church?
Shalom.
You have shalom, which you have this olive tree right here. You see this right over here, right here? Okay. And then what's the other one? You say
Salam alaikum.
grace and peace. So peace, olive. You have the arm, strength, grace, enablement. Okay. So you have the arm, and you have the olive tree coming out of the menorah, but then you have the cross, which is, of course, the fulfillment of the Old Testament. So what you're seeing here, certain showing you, is just signs of evangelicalism in Laodicea during this time. So just they found this. Maybe it was on the back of a pillar somewhere, but maybe evidence of the early church. Because grace and peace, but Christos, Christ. pretty neat.
That is cool.
Pretty